If you're waking up inside a high control religion, it can feel confusing. Asking questions about what you were taught doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you were thinking. If you need support while coming out of a high control religion, visit xjwfriends.com. You don't have to do this alone.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. And thank you for joining us tonight. The theme is initiation and what follows. See what that's all about. iPad. Here.
Batteries.
Yep. There we go.
Hello.
How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing okay? We just got a message from Linda James in case anyone is interested in being part of a memorial alternative. She said that Matthew has come up with an alternative to the memorial that he will be streaming for 24 hours, 1 hour for the bread and wine, 1 hour for socializing within the chat. So each time it will be 2 hours and then he'll start it up again. If he gets tired, I'm going to back him up to keep it going. I've listened to it and it's very inclusive. Anybody can partake if they want, or they might just choose not to, but the way he put it all together, it's very welcoming. So I'm sorry I didn't tell you about it yet. I was going to send it to you so you can watch it, but hopefully if you can trust me, I think it's very inclusive for pretty much anyone who finds value in going to something in remembrance of taking the bread and the wine. I don't even think to be a forward to it, because we were always proud to take the bread and wine. So this gives out where people can have their own bread or whatever they have to eat, and their own wine or whatever they have to drink, and set aside a few moments to be able to partake of each one. So if you're comfortable knowing about this, I would really appreciate it if you can mention it on the show today. It was actually a request from she wanted to be able to go to a memorial or celebrate the memorial, not necessarily going to the Kingdom Hall. Okay, so that's from Linda James, and if you missed the beginning, Matthew is going to be live streaming the memorial for 24 hours. So you can come in on it whenever you're available. And if he's on, maybe he can tell us a little bit more about it. I know people have asked us, about the memorial, but we will not be going to the Kingdom Hall. We haven't gone to the Kingdom Hall since 2022 for the memorial. That was our last one.
No reason.
Right. So, glad to have you here. And we've got some new ones. I want to say hi to Bob DeRusso, Mary Flowers. Thank you for coming on. Faded in San Diego. Alice Power. We saw John Marciano in Dallas. And also right at the very top was Sheila. Happy Thoughts in the UK. And Matthew. We've got just a 10-minute video. Many of you know Ike. He goes way back, and he was discovering things way before this truth movement came out.
Yeah, he's British, and basically he speaks out against how oppressive the governments are, and against the king, the monarchy, in a day now when people are more sensitive than ever to what it means to be oppressed and controlled and abused. And I think it's appropriate for all of us. If anyone ever wants to know what's going on now in this crazy times, it's all out there.
Mhm.
There's no excuse for not finding out. It really is. It's no secret anymore. No secrets. We learned the secrets, the secrets that were lies. It's a secret that they told us that was truthful, but really the secret was they were lies. And now the powers that be, basically their lies worked long enough for them to get away with what they wanted to do. And now they don't have to be secretive about it anymore. And now it's out there for everybody to find out and discover. Mm-hmm. So don't ever say that you can't find out what's going on, or you don't know what's going on. If you don't know, it is there. It is out there. You need to just simply open your ears, listen. Mm-hmm. But you may hear things that you don't like, that they will disturb you. Mm-hmm. They could enrage you, but they'll inform you. And so you'll be able to make better decisions to go forward. And that's what all the research is all about now. It really is. So we're going to continue to do that and provide that from here on, as we have. It's something that opens all of us up, myself, mm-hmm. everyone included. So I hope you enjoy. Any questions or observations or comments, let us know.
Yeah, so it's a 10-minute. It's
short.
It's an hour video, but we only took 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, I suggest everyone to go see it, to go watch the fullness of it another time.
A tiny fraction by comparison to the 8 billion. So mathematically, it should not be possible. So then you look at, okay, so why is it happening then? And you see that there's a structure in place that works like this. You are the few, and you're faced with a vast number of people. If those people were in unity, if they were working together and they knew of your existence and what you were doing, then it would be over overnight. The house of cards, because that's what it is, would come down. So first of all, you have to hide you and what you're doing. You have to hide the source from which it's all coming from. So you lead the population to believe that presidents and prime ministers and governments are running the world. Then you look at the population in general and you think, well, if they're unified, then we've got no chance. So how do we break them up? Number one, you get them to believe rigidly and without question in a belief of some kind. Overwhelmingly, it's a religious belief. It's extraordinary, the numbers, when you think that there's 8 billion people in the world, we're told, and 5.4 billion of them are said to identify either as Christian, as Muslim, or as Hindu, never mind all the others. So you get people to believe rigidly in some kind of belief. Now, overwhelmingly, it's a religious belief, whichever religion it is, but also science is a religion in the sense that it has a rigid belief that repels all borders until the evidence is so overwhelming it can't do it anymore. That's the story of science. Well, science in the modern world anyway. And you have the political beliefs, your left, your right, your center, whatever. I've said so many times, this manipulative force couldn't care less what you believe, so long as you believe it rigidly and without question. So you've got and what you must have to do this is you must have many different beliefs that people believe rigidly, because then, first of all, your belief becomes like a prison. It becomes like a prison cell for your mind, because you will not go outside the walls of your belief into those areas of potential insight, possibility, knowing, awareness, discovery. You won't go there if it's outside of your belief system. You won't go there. So if you're in a religion, then if you go there beyond the walls of the religion, you're said to be dabbling in the occult. It's the devil. And if you are a follower of orthodox science, then you have your rigid belief system as well. And anything beyond it, you are a pseudoscientist or dabbling in the paranormal. And so orthodox science and religion work exactly the same way. They have a belief system. You can't go beyond it, otherwise you're no longer part of the group belief system. Now, once you've got that, you're holding people's perception of reality in a prison cell. You have the perfect environment to divide and rule the target population and play them off against each other. So you play Christianity off against Islam. You play Christianity and Judaism off against Islam, which is what's going on in Iran now. And all the way through what we call human history, or what appears to be human history, you have this dynamic of different belief systems being played off against each other. In the political arena, you have left played off against right. So that basically, if you're of the right, then the left is all bad because they're the enemy. And if you're on the left, then the right is all bad because they're the enemy. And you're seeing it now, not least in Islam's the enemy, and Christianity is the following the true God, and they're the people who are following the wrong God, and it's perfect for divide and rule. And so what you're doing is you are creating an environment in which the target population, which in unity would bring you down overnight if they knew you existed, you are playing them off and setting them at war with each other. And that's how a few can control the many, because if people just stopped, whatever they call themselves, if they just stop, just stop, just a minute, stop, quiet. How is it that you're my enemy, but the strings attached to you and the strings attached to me are held by the same hand? How can that be? Well, how it can be is that's how the few control the many, and always have. The classic Illuminati global cult symbol of the pyramid and all-seeing eye, which is on the dollar bill, and it's on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States. You see it so often. You look at that pyramid structure, that hierarchy, and at the top is the all-seeing eye, and the all-seeing eye is this other dimensional force, and it's running the pyramid. And this other dimensional force ultimately is a state of extreme psychopathic, chaotic, distorted, schismatic consciousness. And what it does is it controls the pyramid by infiltrating the awareness, consciousness of its players, of its assets, of those that are imposing its will. And therefore, as you come down from this other dimensional level into the global cult, you see people that are expressing exactly that state of consciousness in the human world. So I mean, you look at things that I've been researching for decades, like the satanic ritual network, which underpins this cult, the pedophilia network, which interconnects with the Satanist network and underpins this cult. You look at the Epstein files and what's come out there. You look at Jimmy Savile, the BBC entertainer who was a procurer of children for the rich and famous, as well as being a mega pedophile. It's all come out in Britain. And he was extremely, extremely right at the heart of the British royal family, Jimmy Savile. This disc jockey, as he was, just played records on the BBC, and he's invited into the inner core of the British royal family, and he was allowed to do his mega pedophilia right up to his death in 2011, while being at the heart of the British royal family. I mean, it's an extraordinary story, but this is the mentality that is directing the direction of the world. So this consciousness, this fake God consciousness, is psychopathic. Well, psychopathic doesn't really cut it. I mean, it is super, super, super psychopathic. And if you look at the definitions of a psychopath, right up there are a deletion of empathy and a deletion of compassion. You have no empathy, you have no compassion. And I call empathy the fail-safe mechanism of human behavior, because if you can put yourself in the feelings of that which you're affecting, those which you're affecting, then it will change the way you treat them. But if you
Okay, what was that?
That was just 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah, just 10 minutes.
Just 10 minutes of I think it was an hour and something. Really helpful video. See, more and more of these are available now, and he's not the only one. He just so happens to be one that went back to the, I think, 80s
and then
began, and now everything he said then is now right in front of us. Seeing things and hearing things that other people didn't want to admit. Well, you know why? They just don't want to admit it because it's not very flattering, and it means that they would have to change their opinions and change their world views. For example, in Britain, the people typically, literally worship the monarchy. Just worship. They always did. Well, at the same time, the monarchy was riddled with abuses, being abusers, riddled. Well, why did the people support them like that? Why? Well, let's at least say it was a mistake. But let's say the tendency was on the part of the people to view the monarchy as their saviors. They were the ones that were going to deliver us. They're going to take care of us, protect us with their power, their wealth. They didn't do that. They didn't protect anybody. They abused everybody. Fools on you. The fool's on you.
Yep.
Well, how do you suppose they feel about that now? Well, how did you feel when you found out the things from the Watchtower and continue to find out the abuses and the criminal behavior of the Watchtower? They fooled you. They fooled us. They knew how to work their evil secretly. Well, now we know it.
Yeah.
And they say anyone that is involved in a rigid control situation, where the beliefs are rigidly held. In other words, you or I would have to say, I am a such and such, a very devout such and such. Oh, I'm very this. I'm very religious. I'm very Catholic. I'm very Christian. I'm very democratic. I'm very Republican. I'm very socialist. I'm very whatever you're very and rigidly holding to. That's what they want. They want that. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you can rigidly hold yourself to, or I hold myself to, they can use to divide me from you and you from you. So go ahead, say, I'm a staunch this. Oh, I always vote this way. And I hold to these people because they're the ones that are going. That's exactly what they want. It prevents people from existing together and appreciating each other. Instead, they divide out and they hate each other. Go to the point where they will kill each other. It's been that way since history began. But now we're at the point where people are recognizing that government, religion, science, history, whatever other institutions there are, education, they're all means to basically deliver to me, to you, information that I can't question. If I question it, I'm going to be looked at as being an outlier. I'm going to be looked at as being a radical, a rebel. I'm going to look at being disloyal. My partner or fellow person who happens to be of the same belief is going to now all of a sudden view me as a defector, all because of rigid belief systems, which you have to pick up. See, you weren't born with rigid beliefs. Were you born with rigid beliefs? Where did these rigid beliefs come from?
Well, I became Catholic because of my parents. So I picked them up from my parents.
Yeah, you didn't ask that for
No,
that, did you?
no.
I didn't ask for it. Many of you were born into Jehovah's Witnesses Watchtower. You didn't ask for it. I know that. And as a result, you were dragged to meetings. You were dragged in service and abused in the process in many cases. You didn't ask for that. No. But now you know, now you realize that's just one organization that exercises that kind of control. And how did it help you? How did it help you get along with your fellow man?
We've got the link in the chat if you want to come on and let us know what you experienced.
How does any rigid belief systems help you with getting along in the world? How about that? I'll say in the world. With your fellow man all around. How does it help you or interfere? Does anyone want to enter
I'll
into
just
that?
read some of the comments while we're waiting for folks to
come on. Let us know what your rigid belief systems.
Wildwall said, it's ironic that an organization like Watchtower can refer to itself as the truth and constantly be wrong and have to change, amend, adapt, or remove former beliefs and doctrines.
Yeah. Good. So, appreciate the comment.
Point.
Yeah. Or express the fact that lying is theocratic.
Yeah, right.
You're going to learn the truth with people that are going to be liars.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Watch Me Tower, who's probably on Fixing My Faith. We've got 2 channels we're running on, Fixing My Faith and Joe and Fran. And he said, aliens and demons are BS. We are dealing with lizards like Charlie,
yeah.
dot, dot, dot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, some reptiles. You
Yeah.
know, look,
They're not normal.
I'm
They're
no
not,
expert.
They're not people.
I'm no expert, but they're nothing like me, and I'm nothing like them or like you. They're
Yeah.
not. What they are, I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I know is they are abusers.
Yeah.
They are abusers.
I think David Icke mentioned that they have no feeling.
No
They have no
empathy.
empathy.
No
They
empathy.
cannot feel what normal people feel.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to Matthew. Hi,
Hello,
Matthew.
Matthew.
There you go.
You're
Unmuted.
I can hear and I can see you.
okay.
Yeah, we can
I see you and I hear
we
you
can
now,
see
Matthew.
and hear you.
Welcome.
Oh, okay. I'm wearing no hat today. I was asked, please don't wear your cap.
Please don't wear your cap.
Please don't wear your cap, Matt.
Where'd you get that restriction?
If I say I might be betraying them, so so I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do that if it makes you comfortable. I think the idea was respect for the season, so I said, okay, I'll comply with that for the season.
Spring?
You're, what,
Yes,
summer?
spring is sprung.
Spring is here. Hats off. Okay,
Hats
I
off.
get it. I get it.
Yeah, so it's just I want to honor the theme of what you're talking about, but also why I'm not wearing the hat. But
Yeah.
the reason being was there was a request that in the healing community, you've got some persons that think of the memorial season and are totally triggered by it. You know, why go into something that was part of that system, which is what you're talking about, and David Icke is talking about. Why even raise that? You know, haven't we escaped from these rigid kind of systems? And then it just came out spontaneously. Somebody said that I would like something that's a grounding ritual that I was forbidden to take part in. Mm-hmm. I was forbidden to take part in it, but I would like just to observe it. And in a way, it's my own personal declaration to be able to show you or to do this in front and to drink wine and to drink bread if I decide that that's what I want to do.
I get it. I get it.
And I said, okay, are you serious about this? And they said, yep, I'm serious about it. I said, right. Then I had somebody, then we were saying, well, let's be inclusive and say, well, maybe not everybody feels that particular way. Maybe some come on and it's too triggering. You know, what do we do about that? And guess what? Somebody came on and said exactly that. But they did it in a respectful way. They said, Matt, can't do it. Actually can't. I see where you're coming from. Can't do it. But they were respectful in the way that they were talking about the pain that they were getting just from remembering this thing. We said, you know what? You know what? You've taken part in your way because that is your truth. You're talking about the pain. That's what you remember. So thank you for doing that, and let's honor your experience there. So Joe and Fran, you've been doing this a lot longer. Maybe you can fill in the gaps on what I'm trying to talk about. But it's trying to just come through from the trauma and honoring the people, and like you say, and like Vern says, coming together with love. We remember the love, and that's the security, I think. So
Matthew, if anybody came in late, because we read Linda's message to us, you're going to be doing, anybody that wants to come on, it's going to be a 24-hour basically meetup. If anybody wants to, it's going to be kind of like a memorial, but you don't have to partake if you don't want to.
An alternative?
And yeah, it's an alternative. You don't have to drink wine if you don't want to. You can have crackers and chips. If I'm reading it right, you can do whatever you want to. It's basically a time for people to connect.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for that.
And
So
how
if
can they?
if you've got questions or anything like that, or Gail's got questions, or Annie, or anybody,
How can they view it? Whose channel is it going to be on?
Yeah, that's what my question's going to be. Where we're going to
hi,
view it.
Gail.
Hi,
So-
hi there, Matthew.
So Gail, yeah.
Yes, dear.
So you are important in this.
Because it was my
You're
idea.
you're very much part of this, and I hope I'm not letting too much out of the bag.
I have a question. What time are you going to start this? Because I'm Eastern Standard Time here in the United States.
Oh, wow, that's a good question. So Fran and Joe, can I just sort of freely rattle off and then you intervene or whatever?
Yeah, please do.
So to answer you, Gail, good question. So it starts as the planet moves into various time zones. It starts at 6 a.m. SAST. 6 a.m. SAST. And it is cyclic, so it works through all the time zones. So for your time zone, it'll be running. So I'm supposed to be resting now, but I couldn't rest. I went, no, I'm going to tune into Joe and Fran and I'll listen. And then I heard this thing and I got a knot in my stomach and I thought I better.
You can do it, Matthew. I could complete confidence in you.
So I thought, oh, well, I'm committed. I better come on to Joe since they've made it.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, too, by asking you.
So 6 a.m.
I'm going to go on at 7. Who's talking? I'm going to go on at 7 p.m. my time because I want to do it when it's dusk. So are you going to talk? Are you going to do a talk? What are you going to do?
Okay, so you said you would like it witnessed. If you decide to do it a certain way, you'd like to participate. That's the idea, right?
Yeah, I bought my wine and my pita bread.
Yeah, wine and pita bread. Yeah, okay, so wine and pita bread. So what do we do? How do we do it? So I made the talk ahead of time and I put it on my YouTube.
Okay.
So if you want to take control and you say, no, Matt, I can't handle it. I want control of this thing. You can just go to my YouTube and you can run that talk yourself.
Me?
There's a couple of...
Oh, no.
Have it your way.
Yeah, you can handle it your way. And there's a couple of songs. You can do the introductory song. You can do the closing song.
Yeah.
And then on the post section on YouTube, there's what's called an invocation and a benediction.
Okay.
In other words, prayer. Okay, so you've got the prayer for the wine, you've got the prayer for the bread, you've got a closing blessing. So you go, oh yeah, that's.
So you have this all already prepared?
All there, and you just go onto my YouTube, and it's the latest 3 videos, and you go to the posts, and it's got the prayers for the bread and the wine. So you've got control of that.
Oh, I thought it was going to be live with you.
Correct. So now to the live part. For somebody that says, hey, I'm Gail, I've got my pita bread, I've got my wine, I want to interact with you, and I want to interact with the planet, please.
Okay. So whose platform are we using? Are we going to use Vern's platform, the StreamYard?
So I said to because we started this on Linda James's channel, right? I said, well, I might flake out. I might sort of go to you, I can't handle it. But she kindly said she would back me up. So I've made the files available for her just in case I can't handle it.
All right.
But the way it works is some of it is automated, like the talk part lasts for a traditional 40 minutes or an hour if you include.
It's a long time ago.
Are you going to patent this, Matthew?
Huh?
Are you going to patent this?
No. Yeah, I might critique your words too. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the whole transcript's there, so it's all transparent. It's all written out. So if you want to go, hang on, there's something you've embedded in here. You can take a look at the whole thing, and I'm never going to take it down. You can just go, hey,
All right.
what's this? But I had it running before, and I had various ones checking it and saying, tell me, is there anything that triggers you here or whatever? So it might be imperfect, done the best we can, and we had various ones interacting with it ahead of time so that it's already been checked. So you asked about the actual stream. The actual stream starts at 6 a.m. SAST and runs for a complete 24 hours.
Okay.
So now you said live stream. I don't use StreamYard like Fran and Joe does.
Well, why can't we do it special tomorrow night and have it on 7?
Well, it will. It works. It works
Okay.
exactly. It works at 7 completely.
All right. So,
So-
can I go on? Will I be able to go on StreamYard and get it, or?
If you go onto YouTube, you go onto my channel, you will see it's all automated.
All right. What's your channel?
It's my name, Matthew Mile Gray.
Oh,
So-
okay.
so
Gotcha.
Joe and Fran have got it on the screen.
Okay. Matthew Miles. Okay, Matthew. Now, is Linda coming on tonight?
So I saw Linda James in the comments somewhere. I saw her there.
I was going to see if she could sing at the
Yeah, you can. If you want to sing, you want to do anything.
No, not me, Linda. No, I don't sing.
But of course, we also want to have a respectful thing. So say for I wasn't sort of expecting many people, but let's say for instance, you do get many. We want to try and do it the same way Joe and Fran have it, and
Yeah,
give
exactly.
her,
That's what I would like to
you know,
say.
Annie's here. Hi, Annie. You know, bring Annie in and talk with Annie and give her an opportunity.
Okay.
You know, it's the same kind of respect that we've got practice with in these live streams. So it's the same kind of thing. So you know how you went onto StreamYard and Joe gave you a link just now, or Fran gave you a link?
Yes.
There'll be a link on my channel as well.
Oh, all right.
And you just click it. We tested it and it works and it's stable. So you just click on it and it'll bring you in to, it works like StreamYard. It's just a different product, but it's the same thing.
I don't mean to drive you crazy with questions, but if I want to go on 7 p.m., right? I don't want to be by myself. I'm hoping a whole bunch of people will be going on. Can we just make a set time? Like, no, you know, like say 7 o'clock, we're going to do this instead of
You
24
tell
hours.
me, Gail, and I'm going to make sure I'm awake. I'm going to be pumping in the coffee.
Well, you're awake
and,
now. It's
Yeah.
It's 7:43 here in Massachusetts, so you're awake. No,
so eventually,
what I was expecting is just to have it done. Everybody meet at 7. You talk, Linda sings or whatever, and then you give a talk, and then we drink our wine.
Gail, I think Matthew's trying to include everyone.
Oh, here's
Someone in
Linda
different
now.
countries.
Yeah,
7
different
o'clock.
time zone.
Oh, well,
All
how
right,
many people?
yes.
Yeah, we'll take about 1 minute more. We'll be about 1 minute more on this, and then
Yeah,
we're going to move on.
Yeah, we want to stick to our topic that we were. gonna be
Okay,
talking
I'll
about.
shut up.
Okay,
Linda,
hi, Linda.
Got a minute.
Hello. And, where's Annie? Did we lose Annie?
No, she's sitting there. I don't know. Yeah,
Okay.
she's sitting there.
Yes.
and he's
Hi,
been
Annie.
patiently listening to us chirping here. But Joe and Fran, thanks for the opportunity just to answer some of Gail's questions. And
Yeah. No,
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you.
So,
So is Linda there?
yeah, Linda's
Yes.
here.
Hello.
There you are. And Annie is here.
Hi, Annie. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
You want to stick to
Annie.
the topic now?
Yeah, unless someone had something that they wanted to say at this point, but
Right.
otherwise, yeah,
Initiation. Initiation and what follows.
initiation. I was thinking about this. We didn't grow up in that organization. We grew up in another organization, in Catholic Church. Well, in the Catholic Church, there were all kinds of initiations. In the world, so to speak, anytime a person gets involved in something new that they're not used to, and it's, extensive, and they want to be a part of it, there's an initiation ceremony or initiation process, the process where they're literally initialized into it so that they become a recognized member. They get to recognize themselves and others that they're going to embark on this venture. Well, you as Jehovah's Witness born-ins, the born-ins basically were cheated and restricted from getting involved in initiations of most other things in life. You were just strictly dedicated to a cause. And you know what cause that was. So consequently, you really never got involved in any other initiations. Well, the thing that you and we were indoctrinated or dedicated into was this thing called baptism. And then, of course, even before that, there was the theocratic ministry school. And what I found so disturbing was that this, and it was stated several times to us, that the theocratic ministry school is a school that you will never graduate from. Now, when I heard that, something in me said that just does not sound good. Because everything that I got involved in when I was younger, there was an initiation. You know, you started off at a certain point, kindergarten, and then first grade, second grade, third grade. And everyone was looking forward to a graduation. Well, sorry, Joe, you're never going to graduate from school. Sorry, you're never going to graduate from grade school. What? Wait a minute. No. See, everybody graduates, unless, of course, there's reasons why they get held back or they can't. In which case, they'll go be in something else that they can achieve something in and graduate from. It's a mark of achievement. People need that. Individuals need that. But in the Watchtower organization, basically, the born-ins were cheated of the opportunity to graduate. Now, that really basically was a way of degrading and diminishing you as a human being. It was designed to, almost like a humiliation process. It's to humble you and to keep you humble. You will never graduate. That's not good. In life, people need to graduate. Otherwise, they will never be able to move on and go to the next level, the next step, to achieve something else that they personally want to. Well, you weren't allowed to. You're not going to do that. No. Oh, and if you wanted to move on, then you can just move on to more of the same. The privileges were to do more of the same. That's what a privilege was. Not to move on to graduate to what you wanted to achieve with your life. Well, everything that we've been trying to do is basically to initiate something new for everybody, something new, teachings, new ways of thinking, new ideas, things that challenged you. And there were things that challenged you, and that's good, because you would never be challenged in the Watchtower with these higher or different or unusual or outside the box thinking. So basically,
and you didn't have to agree with us.
You don't have to agree with anything.
In the Watchtower, everybody has to be in agreement. Everyone has to be in unity, and we're not looking for that.
See, in the Watchtower, you or we all had to be of one mind. That means your mind doesn't count.
Right.
My mind didn't count. It's anyone else's mind? No. The hive mind counts. So your individual mind doesn't count. Well, that's not how it goes in real life. In real life, your mind counts. Your mind counts. And you get to hold your mind to a certain belief. And you, in all fairness, I don't have to agree with you, and vice versa. You don't have to agree with me. It's not necessary. It's not. In fact, if sometimes I catch if someone's agreeing with me, I think they might be patronizing me. You know, you're just patronizing me. You're just agreeing with me. That's not really how you think, I bet. See, so we appreciate the individual minds being expressed. I appreciate that. That's how I learn. That's how I grow, by being challenged by someone's mind. It's different than mine. And I'd like to think others can do the same with each other. So that's the other thing that, yeah. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm going to agree with just about everything you said, and I'm not patronizing you either. Your summary of the idea, which I never thought of as a born-in, your summary of the idea of never graduating from the theater creative school. And I remember when I first heard that, it kind of grated on me. But, you know, I just accepted it, moved on. It certainly was a way of keeping people down. And your explanation of it moving forward is just doing more of the same, just on a different level. Higher, you know, more responsibility. But yeah, your summary of that was perfect.
Well, see, that was an outsider's view of what you were going through as individuals. Because, I mean, we were in the world. I mean, so we coming into that organization as observers, outside observers. And honestly, it was horribly, humanly oppressive. The only way you're going to know how much you were oppressed is after you have experienced what it means to be humanly free in exercising it. And it takes time. And for many, I'll admit that they find it challenging. Maybe it makes them insecure because there's not certainty involved. You know, there's uncertainty. What's going to happen? Will I this? Will I do well with it? I feel like I'm in the dark with this, and that's what it's like with many new ventures that a person embarks on. That's normal. That's normal. But the beauty is that you've got other people there who are at the same point where you're going to share that with, and they're going to share that with you. And you also are going to have others who are more experienced that are going to assist you because, well, it makes them feel good when they can assist someone who's embarking on something new. And you feel good when someone literally takes you into that position. That you did not have that in that organization, unless, of course, you wanted to be a pioneer, and another pioneer would take you out and go door to door and show you everything how to pioneer. And that's it.
But it's still restrictive.
Yeah. But see, with this, you can go through initiations process the rest of your life with different things and embark on a whole new life. Yeah. It's liberating. You know, one day you can feel your life is kind of going nowhere. You can embark on something new. Your life will change immediately by embarking on something new. And that's in your control. That's in your power. And this is something that we, Fran and I, were, well, hoping to initiate with you all. And I hope we have. I think we have.
Can I say something, Joe?
Yeah, yes.
So as you're talking about this, the sense of being oppressed, I can really recall that feeling of, I remember that. I remember being very oppressed and not being able to pursue any of my own self-interests. that was just always poo-pooed on, or told to wait till the new system of things and you can do that then. So I think there's no mistake in the word apostate. The archaic definition is runaway slave. It only confirms the oppression one can have when in a high control group like that.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
on top of that, the privileges that you spoke of earlier, Joe, were weaponized against us because the least little thing that you did wrong or was considered wrong, well, you're going to lose that privilege. You're going to be removed as an elder. You're going to be removed as a regular pioneer, whatever. So they actually weaponized these privileges that we supposedly had.
Yeah, I will be very open or direct with you now and tell you that I was forcing myself to be very open-minded in experiencing what you were all going through. And I never found it very agreeable, personally. And sure enough, I'm absolutely convinced that it's an incredibly unloving way to arrange humans together. And this is something that you've broken out of. You have.
Yeah.
And that's so...
Yeah, we applaud you, all of you, because, it took courage to leave and to lose family and friends and, many, many years of putting yourself in that situation.
Well, I am going to correct you a little bit and say you didn't lose friends.
Well,
you lost people.
About acquaintances.
Yeah, see, you lost people but potentially could have been your friends.
Yeah.
And they proved
we're finding out who our friends
that
are.
they were or weren't your friends.
Yeah.
I had an interesting experience today. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I got a text from one of the elders, the head of the group I used to be in today. And first I thought it was an invitation to a memorial, but it actually wasn't. He said that because of all the rain we've had, there's been some problems with water, I guess with localized flooding or something. So he was checking on me. He said, and interestingly, he said, I know you're not associating with us right now, but you're still part of our group or something to that effect. And so I wanted to check on you and see if you were okay, if you were having any problems with water. And so I texted him back and I said, no, I'm fine. I said that I thank you for your interest. No harm in asking, of course. And I guess that's why I said thank you for your interest. Yeah. But I was very respectful. And but they do reach out for me from time to time, long spans of time in between. But it's always been positive. It's always been positive.
Yeah.
But
that's nice. I think both of you and they are going to learn something from that. I think they're going to learn an alternate way of relating to people outside of that arrangement. That's what it seems.
So well, go ahead, Annie.
I'll just finish up and now stop talking. But like I did say one time to one of the elders, I said, I don't have any hard feelings toward any individual in the congregation. And I don't. It's the organization I have a big problem with.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I'm sure that's going to mean something to the right people. Really, the right people, that is going to mean something. Great, thank you.
Yeah, we want to introduce Shack composer JP. He just got out of work and he wanted to join us. When we were talking about graduating, we thought of JP because he's gone through so much, and basically we came out at the same time. And we were going to just ask him a few questions, like how, what he's done to graduate from the Watchtower. We know you've been involved in many different things. So if you can unmute yourself, there you go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Welcome, JP.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, so what have you done, JP, to, go your next step?
Well, it's always since I woke up. It was in November 2021. So it's almost going to be coming up on 5 years, I think, for both of us, because you guys woke up a little after I did. I think about a month after that, and it's changed, and I feel I'm kind of on this journey where I'm letting just the spirit guide me and I'm kind of keeping myself open to whatever. But the way it pretty much started was, I think, when we all first woke up, in my situation, it took me about a year to deconstruct before I even opened up the Bible or even thought about anything spiritual. I had to, because I was born in third generation, and it was such a big part of my life. And even though I was physically out, mentally in it for so many years, I always did have the desire to come back. And I was actually trying to come back at the time I woke up. And what woke me up was pretty much trying to come back to the organization. So I think the first step in that journey was deconstructing the religion and proving to myself that it wasn't the truth. And I think that's what people need to do in most situations, is to completely root out any kind of doubt that you have that it might be God's organization or it is the truth. And then once you do that, then you could move on to wherever you desire, wherever your spiritual life, mentally, emotionally, where you want to go. Some people become atheists when they wake up. As a matter of fact, I believe most people do. Some people pursue, alternative, more like free thinking type of stuff like that. And some people try to stick to Christianity and figure out where we came from or what we were taught as Jehovah's Witnesses. And that was kind of the route I did at the time after coming out after about a year.
You were looking, if I recall, Jerry, you were looking for a church or a group, and you found one.
Yeah, after about a year or so, I think what helped a lot, because I didn't even really get involved and started going to another church until I met some other XJWs, which you guys were one of the first, and you started connecting people. But I think before that, there wasn't a whole lot of meetups and a lot of connections, not to the extent that it was. So one thing I would say is, even before you probably make any move, when you first wake up, is to try to get into contact with another XJW, even if it's just one person that can become a good friend or somebody that you can confide in.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you wake up, there's going to be a lot of supportive people, whether it's family member that has never been Jehovah's Witnesses or maybe workmates, but there's not going to be somebody that's going to be able to completely understand you unless it's an XJW. So I would recommend that would be one of the first things, even before you think about even dipping your toe into another belief or anything, is try to get a hold of some other XJWs. It gives you somebody to talk to that understands what's going on. And then also it's probably somebody that's going through exactly what you've gone through.
Yeah. Great point. Great point, Chair. Yeah.
And then after that, I had my mind open to other things. I started actually reading the Bible for what it was and realizing a lot of things, a lot of scriptures and stuff that I had never read. And then eventually I met some people that invited me to a non-denominational church. And I went there for quite a while. I visited some other churches and stuff just to try to see what it was like. And I probably went there almost every Sunday without missing a Sunday for about a year and a half. I really enjoyed it. but also too, after going for a year and a half, I did realize that I did have some kind of watchtower feelings in me, and the part was feeling obligated to go to a place, because a few times that I wouldn't go, I'd feel guilty or that I wasn't in church. And later I realized that that's not what it's all about, that was kind of watchtower making you feel like that you're lacking in spirituality or something if you're missing and that. So I got rid of that, and it was a big help actually going to a few churches and meeting people. I thought everybody was pretty much for the most part sound in mind, not like how anything the witnesses depicted, like how religion was, how they're just interested in money and passing a plate around and making a collection and all kinds of over the top preaching and stuff. I found just about all the churches I've been to be reasonable. The people were. I did eventually get rebaptized in that church after about a year, almost a year and a half. And unlike the witnesses, I knew almost everybody in that church. I was going to the men's Bible study group, involved with a lot of stuff. They never asked me for a dime. The whole time I was going there, they never pushed me to become a member of the church or to get baptized. I had been thinking about it for a long time, and one Sunday I just went up to an usher and I told him I'd like to be baptized, and he said, "Sure, just go over to that room and they'll get you a swimsuit and a change of clothes, and they'll baptize you right after service." They weren't telling me, "Well, you have to meet with our elders and you got to go over 100 and something questions," and it was very different, and I enjoyed that experience.
Still there, Chair?
Any other question?
No, I did. I appreciate the journey you've been on. That's tremendous. I was going to ask you one. What did you learn from any of the people there? What characteristics that you could identify with, that you could see as you becoming more of, just from the different people there, how they were different? What did you see that you could learn from?
Well, you find a wide variety of people, and it's a lot more freedom in any kind of a church or anything like that. Usually like the non-denominational types. I met a wide variety of people. Some of them were just at a stage like me, trying to figure out what was going on. Like I did meet another XJW at a men's group one time, and he's still very active in the church. And there's different people. There's people that are, I would say, like passing through. There's some people that have been there for years. But I think it's the place I was going. It was a very positive experience, and everybody was pretty much not fake or anything, or trying to. Sometimes when you go to a meeting, especially if you're somebody off the street, they love bomb you and stuff. And I never really got love bombed. Everybody was courteous and nice. I never felt uncomfortable or they took over interest in me. If anything, they told me if I have any questions, just let them know, and that they didn't ask me where I was from and why I was there. And
so, is it fair to say that you might have felt much more comfortable there?
Yes, a lot more comfortable. And I could say that I haven't been to a whole lot of churches, so I'm sure that there are some that are completely opposite.
Oh yeah.
And but I would say when people are like me and you do have a desire to want to experience that side of Christianity and stuff, by all means do it. And I did get rebaptized. I did feel better about it. I'm not nearly as active in the church, and that I don't feel obligated to go every week. I don't go as often as I used to. I visit from time to time. I visit other churches, but that was something that was in the 5 years. I think that year and a half in my journey, that God was leading me through that, and I had to go through that and meet those people, and that's where I needed to be until I am where I am now. And right now I'm still kind of lurking and looking and searching for truth in other places and other things. Even though I'm still a Christian, I'm never going to let that go. But I think there's more to our life experience than just the Bible, the churches, and Christianity. I think that, you know, God, he made the earth more advanced and more of a cultural thing that we need to experience. Even Christ himself sat and experienced different people. He just wasn't always with just one kind of people. He was with the rich, the poor. He was with the military people, with Pharisees, scribes. He with leaders. He spoke to everybody and listened to everybody. And I think that's something that we all should do. Is now that we've left Watchtowers, we have the capacity to do it. So take advantage of it. Don't just leave Watchtower to run to another church and lock yourself in there and never leave. Go visit other churches, meet new people, and figure out what it's going to be for you. Because ultimately, I think that's you know, this life is a gift from God, and that's living it is experiencing, you know, a lot more than what we were dealt with. You know, what human leadership tells us that was supposed to be done. There's a lot more of those experience to go.
Well said, Jerry. So it sounds like you can be very happy with your life without a rigid set of requirements.
Yeah, and if I could just interject, because we know Jerry very well. Not only did he have that path, but he's also a very, very, very good chess player, plays with some of the best.
Yeah.
He's into astronomy, and he also goes to a cigar men's club, or I don't know, I think women go there too. So he's very broad-minded, and so he's graduated from the Watchtower, and you know, we want to give others the opportunity too to, you know, maybe.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry, for coming on, and maybe others want to say how they've graduated.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
And I might say that there was someone. Looked Logan, I think it was.
If you want to come back on, you.
Logan is back there.
Yeah, please come back. Anyone else want to share anything about graduating or initiation?
I'm going to state that everything that I've ever been involved with, and Fran as well, whatever we were involved with, organizations, institutions, pursuits, it went through a cycle of initiation, learning, acclimating to it, making some achievement in it, and then moving on. And that's everything that we've ever been through. We've got involved with groups of people intimately for like 4 years, and then boom, everybody goes their own way. So there was nothing there that really held people together. They didn't all have to be of the same mind, but yet they got along.
Yeah.
And yet they also knew that they'd go their own way, and they'd reconnect if there was a reason for them to. And this was a normal thing. A lot of people found that sad.
Yeah.
That we were with. They found it sad that they would break up, that they would their secure little group would be over and move on. But that is
life.
It is life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to happen. That is happening now here with you and with us.
People have come on the program, and then, you know, we don't see or hear from them, and everybody gets all worried and concerned. Where's so-and-so?
Yeah.
Well, they're living their life, you know?
Which is something personally we have to do too.
It's something we have to learn how to do.
Well, you know, you live and breathe with others that live and breathe, and that's learning. That's learning.
You were talking about born-ins being cheated. It occurred to me I don't feel cheated, but in some ways I was, because I didn't even go to my graduation.
Yeah.
Because why would I? I was going to pioneer, and the world was so close to the end. That was in 73, and the world is coming to an end. Or so I kind of thought. I didn't fully believe it, but 75. So graduation would never. Why would I bother?
Yeah.
Being with all those worldly people.
See,
But I can't say that I feel cheated. I don't really feel cheated. It doesn't really matter to me.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. It's good perspective, Annie.
Well, everybody, you see, there's differences in people. There's some people that they have their own mind. They come up with their own ideas, their own direction, and they're self-sufficient, capable. Whereas others, they're going to lean very heavily. They're going to ask you, what do you do? What are you going to do? I don't know what to do. What are you going to do? I'm not sure what to do. I'll do what you do. There's going to be either extremes there. And are there situations for people like that? Yeah. Some there are arrangements for people that need that direction.
Yeah.
If everyone is going to be somewhere in that scale. Everybody.
I guess because I went through all of the school years alone. There was never any other witness in any of my classes. And so I went to the library alone. I sat out in the hallway alone. I went to the principal's office, whatever the arrangement was, from elementary school on through. I just sat there being humiliated. But it made me strong. It made me tough.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why by the time I got through school, I just wanted to get out, go on with my life. I thought I knew what I was going to do with my life. So, just that part never really bothered me. But boy, it sure made me independent.
Yeah. That's good.
I was going to say, Joe and Fran, another part of me graduating from Watchtower is I believe this is going to be the first year that I'm not going to go to the memorial. I know it's tomorrow, but I've already made it clear, and any relative or anybody that I know that told me, I told them I don't think so, because I know how to do the memorial myself, and it's not necessary. And this will be the first time in my entire life since I was born that I won't be going to a memorial. And the last 2 years, I've actually went to the memorial and I partook. And I would like to, but it's just too nerve-wracking, and emotionally it's very hard. And
I agree.
I think at the last 2 years when I did it, that was another thing of me graduating to me, especially after becoming a Christian, after leaving Jehovah's Witnesses. That was another thing that I had to conquer and fulfill. Me personally, I know some people would never do it, and I don't recommend anybody doing it. It's up to your own personal thing. But I actually had to go to memorial and partake, and it was kind of letting go of my fear of the witnesses. And at the same time, people that I did know, I know that still did respect me somewhat. That way it could show them that it's okay. Like if I can do it, Jerry, somebody who's just a sinner, just a regular person like them, if I can do it, there's certainly no reason why they can't do it, and it's only open to the governing body or other people.
And see, Jerry, for perspective, I was brought up Catholic, so was Fran. I was brought up in a Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and so regularly we attended church. I mean, weekdays, masses, and it was a common thing to partake of communion. Holy Communion, it was called. The host, the wafer. No wine. We didn't do wine. Just the priest did the wine. But it would be a regular thing that everyone
you could partake every day if you want to.
For communion.
Once you got communion, first communion, when you're 7 years old.
You go through a big ritual. You dress up in white and you walk your parade and whatever.
And once you got once you went to First Communion, you could partake anytime you
anytime
wanted to.
you want. You go to church. You walk up if you want. You get in line. You take communion. You go back. And I went to other churches, other denominations, and they had their ritual too.
Mm-hmm.
And people took the bread or whatever it was. It was no earth-shattering thing for them. It was a personal.
But it was kind of strange. When the very first meeting we went to was a memorial in 1985.
It's like,
the witnesses were coming around with their little invitations. They were just a little piece of. They were not like they are today.
No.
And maybe the size of a 3x5 card. And they came to our door, and they. The first time was just. They were just doing door to door, but it was on the third return visit that they invited us to the memorial. Yeah. So we said, and they of course say, well, if you're Christian, this is the most important event for Christians. And so Joe and I looked at each other. Well, we're Christians. Maybe we should go.
That's important. We'll go.
And we did. We went, but everybody was dressed up like it's
Easter. Like Easter Sunday.
And we're sitting in the car. We're thinking, maybe we're not dressed. Maybe we shouldn't go. And Joe says, well, this will be a test. If they accept us the way we are, then, then this is the place we want to go. And of course they love bombed us, and we didn't know it at the time. And anyway, that was our first meeting.
Yeah. But again, the point there is that it's a very rigid structure.
Yeah.
Very rigid belief system.
Yeah.
And when you have rigid belief systems, that's when you are. That's like taking a horse, like a wild horse of the field, and capturing them, and breaking them, and putting them in a corral, and then eventually putting a bridle on them and a saddle, or in reins, and using them as a beast of burden.
Yeah.
And that's what rigid groups do to people.
So what I was going to say. In addition to that, our feeling being there and not being able to partake, it was very strange. It's like, but they put the fear in you, like, don't take the bread, don't take the wine. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen if we do?
So for us, I guess you could say it was a huge experiment.
It was.
I've come to conclude that the organization that you were born in, that we came into, was nothing more than a laboratory for the government to see what it takes to subject people and groom them to be basically ideological, political slaves of the government. That's all it is. It's not a religion. No way is it a religion. They just threw Jesus Christ in there to keep you there. And now whether or not that's of your beliefs, that's not yours, but they're frauds. They're they're government frauds that happen to also be criminals.
Anyone else have something to say?
I was going to, you mentioned the ministry school, and I hated the ministry school. I actually dropped out because they set the bar really high, and I used to get very anxious when it was my turn to go.
Oops. Wow. Let's try it out.
Come back, Gail.
Gail, we lost you big time.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you can do that? You could drop out of ministry school? Never heard anybody ever say this. I'm beside myself with really?
Yeah.
Why didn't I leave? Yeah.
Wow.
I knew of elders' wives who never joined the ministry school. They just would not get up on the stage.
Oh my God. See, to me, okay, it's a commission, right? That everybody has to go door to door. So ministry school would be part of this commission of everybody having to go door to door, right? That's just the way my head's thinking. But so you knew people too that didn't have to be in ministry. Wow. This is like an amazing epiphany.
removed myself. I forgot that I actually had done that. I'm
You
trying
did
to
it
remember
too.
why. I'm trying to remember why I removed myself. I don't recall. I just said I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
very, it's a really very unnatural thing to do. I mean, it's humiliating, and it's unfortunately for some, do much better than others just naturally, but for some, it's really stressful and difficult.
Gail, you were saying something and then you popped out.
Yeah, I lost everybody. Sorry about that.
And I was saying that's an option. You can just drop out. I've been amazed at this.
Shut everything
Wow.
off. My computer's possessed, I think. I didn't like the
Lay hands on that.
Huh? I didn't like the grading system.
Holy water.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Go ahead, Linda.
I said, just lay hands on that computer and pray it away. Get that demon out. Perform an exorcist. Then I'm totally joking. So,
burn some sage.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, I didn't like the grading system. I didn't like the fact that the elder would stand on the platform and say, "Oh, Gail, you got to work on number 36 or whatever number it was, and come back next time." I hated that because I was so. I don't like getting up to speak in a crowd anyway, but then to stand up there and give a 5-minute talk or whatever it was, 4 minutes, and you're anxious trying to put the talk together, and then you got to get up there and talk in front of everybody, and then when you sit down, he starts to grade you. And it's like you were looking for their approval, so you wanted to do the best you can, and score a high grade, and that puts a lot of pressure on us. It put a lot of pressure on me because. What was I looking for? Their approval? Just like my parents were looking for their approval.
Really, it was degrading. It was really degrading.
It was. And I felt like, gee, what am I in high school? I'm going to get graded now. But
yeah, literally.
I hated it.
Interesting, religion, the word religion, literally, because it's not an American word. It's Latin. It signifies reassigning somebody to another status position in life. It's, in other words, they're taking you now and they're putting you in a different position, like lower. and that was for the purpose of the emperor being able to control his empire. So they developed religion, literally. That's what the word is for, to reassign you, to rather not being free people who used to have pagan beliefs, because everyone, had we been back then, we would have been practicing and enjoying and pagan understandings, pagan beliefs, which were normal for their lives. And they said, no, now we're going to redo you. We're going to redo you to make you fit to be of one mind for the empire.
And every time an empire overrode another empire or another people, they would take their religious beliefs and their customs and traditions, and they would change them. And they might incorporate them. They give them a new name, give their God a new name, give their celebrations a new name. We had, scripturally, according to the Bible, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were given new names, literally. Yeah. So that was how they would try to assimilate them into their way of ruling. Yeah. And in fact, I'm reading a book on Iran, and it's quite interesting about the history of Iran. Since there's an issue with this country and that country, I thought, I don't know anything about them. Mm-hmm. So I thought it's interesting because a lot of it I'm remembering from studying the book of Daniel and studying probably Babylon the Great book, I don't know how many times over the years, because a lot of it was history. And that's what I'm reading about, of course, is history. Mm-hmm. But I'll just share this with you real quick. According to this person who wrote the book, the research that she did going over there and interviewing people, collecting all the information, Cyrus the Great was actually a pretty decent ruler. I mean, he had a lot of blood on his hands because he conquered a whole lot of people. But once he got them under his rulership, he actually was pretty fair and pretty just. But he was still going to war himself in his 60s. And well, I'm telling two different stories actually. Going back to Babylon, remember how we were told about how Jehovah made sure that the gates were open so that Cyrus he drained the Euphrates River and he marched in because Nebuchadnezzar was having that big feast and everything. Well, according to what she found out, that actually what the truth was that the people in Babylon were wanted Cyrus to take them because Nebuchadnezzar was such an awful ruler. Yeah. And so Cyrus was actually considered their relief, their ransomer, if you want to use that term.
Yeah.
So they left the doors open.
I see.
Because they knew Cyrus was eyeing it. Was eyeing Babylon, so they left those doors open.
Interesting. Makes sense.
According to what she discovered, at least.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was interesting. A little bit of history.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's really interesting. And see, there's so much information now that's coming out for people to have to enrich their point of view of what is and what was, and and how to view the world. We're facing that now. Everything that we are exposed to now. Two things. Everything we're exposed to on the news and the media, it's going to do nothing but show how corrupt all the institutions are. So prove me if I'm wrong, but see what comes out of all the media and whether or not everything is corrupt. You're not going to find any uprightness in it. Number one. And number two, on the internet at this point, there's going to be so much eye-opening and awakening to the lies that were told before, and now the truer presentation. I'm not going to say the truth, but it's more important to know what lies you were told than it is to think you're going to learn the truth. This is interesting. As soon as you learn what you think to be the truth, you're not going to learn anymore. You're through.
No, so really, instead of looking for truth, look for facts.
Yeah. And that's what's coming out now. More and more information that they hid before. Well, now they don't. They hid so much information because they knew that if we knew the facts, we would never cooperate. But so they had to tell lies, and they had to distort things, distort the calendar, distort what religion was, distort everything, so that we would comply, so that people would comply. Now we're at the point where the truth's coming out of all these people that were a certain way and that were not a certain way. All these leaders that were supposedly for the people, they're not for the people. They're for the banks. They're for the kings. They're for power. And there's no question now as to what is taking place. What's taking place is a big the nations are going to get their way. The ones that are leading the world and controlling, they're going to get their way. They want to change governance. They want to change the way resources are used around the world. They're going to establish and change religion. And you and I really aren't going to have any effect on it. We're not going to. We never did. But the thing we can do is not give ourselves over to them. We gave them ourselves. Look, we built the Watchtower Corporation for them. We literally strengthened their real estate company. That's what we did. We built their real estate company for them. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. And we're less likely to do that with anything else. And the same thing with politics. There's some that still think that politics is something that's bona fide. In other words, there's a difference between a Republican and Democrat. Well, behind the door, closed doors, there's no difference. Absolutely no difference.
They're friends.
Yeah, that's all designed to put people against each other, divide and conquer. It's worked before, and unfortunately, it's working now. But many people are wise to that.
Can I ask Annie a few questions about what she was just talking about? The book she was reading about Iran? So you were mentioning about Cyrus and that how he was thought of as almost like a savior, right?
Yes, because he actually believed in justice, in ruling, justice, and I won't say love, but justice in dealing with the people under him. So, I mean, this is just one book I'm reading, right? So just remember, someone else might come along and have a entirely different story. But
right.
Yeah,
so,
he actually was viewed by her research. He was viewed as being a pretty decent ruler, but he was still a ruler.
Here's how that works. There's people that in different times in their life occupy certain positions. For example, Cyrus at that point was useful as someone who was, let's say, a savior of the people. Well, at another time, maybe he was pretty miserable toward people. But at that point, he was a savior. And the same thing with prophets. A person isn't born a prophet. They find themselves in position to be a prophet for whatever reason. And that was borne out by, I think it was Jesus who said, your sons and daughters will prophesy. Was it him? Or someone said that. But the point is, people find themselves at times in a position where what they offer is prophetic. You don't get, someone doesn't come over and say, boom, you're a prophet. Individuals become in a position where they can be a prophet. And basically, prophets are humans. They're humans that can relate something to other humans that helps them to be human.
That was from Joel. It says your sons and daughters will prophesy.
Yeah.
And then it was reiterated in Acts.
Yeah, and we're basically sons and daughters. And they help people to learn how to be human. And that's where that spark of life comes in, that Jesus said, don't hide your light under a bushel. In other words, shine it forth. Well, it's not to show off. He didn't mean to be a show off. What he was saying is that we, all individuals, or many, have the ability to present something that helps someone else be what they need to be. And that's the beauty in developing relationships in a group. And if you don't see that there, if you don't find that developing in a group, you may want to be in a different group. In other words, if you can't have a positive effect on a group, or if it can't have a positive effect on you, you may not belong there.
Just want to, we see someone new in the chat. Welcome, Alice Power. I'm not sure where she's from, but she may have to be leaving. Maybe she's in a different part of the world. But anyway, we just wanted to recognize her.
Yeah.
Hi, Alice. I just wanted to finish with Annie, if I could. So I've always heard, like, some Christians will say about our President Trump that he's considered a modern day Cyrus. And from what Annie has just shared, it makes it makes sense that he was okay. He was this man of justice and stuff. So that's even though Cyrus was not considered a follower of God, God used him. So Trump is being called a modern day Cyrus. So I've never heard much of the characteristic of Cyrus. That's very fascinating to hear that he's like for justice and stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, and it might not have been the perception of everyone. It may not have been throughout his entire reign either. I don't know. I'm just saying, as a politician, as a ruler, I kind of doubt that he was necessarily always that way. But actually, some of that goes back to his religious beliefs too, as to what brought him to that. So
did Cyrus have a religious belief?
He did. I was just looking through the book. I wish I could remember everything I've read, believe me.
Okay.
I think,
I'll get Fran's number and catch up with you later then. I'm intrigued. Thank you.
But I would like to share this with you. You know how Cyrus died? He died at the hands of a woman. He died at the hands of a woman. He went to battle with some people who were living in, I believe it was the northeastern part of Iranian area, which he dominated, except for that one section. He went against them, and at that point, he'd been undefeatable. And in this case, he lost the battle. And the queen of that area lost her son in battle. So she was furious. So she went after, she wanted Cyrus. Well, he was in his 60s and still riding horseback into battle. He fell off, and while he was on the ground, she took her sword and decapitated him.
Oh.
And so she believed he was part of the reason her son died?
Yeah. Because Cyrus was coming against her people, and her son died in battle, so she wanted revenge. So she decapitated him, put his head in a bag, and then the soldiers, of course, who went to battle with Cyrus, had to drag his body or carry his body to her place where I don't know what happened after that, but. Yeah, he died at the hand of a woman.
Well, mess with a woman's children.
Right.
Who knows what can happen, right?
Hell has no fury like that of a woman.
Yes.
This puts us in a position where every one of us individually, we're going to take something special away from, information that we read. It's and it's the power of what we read and gain. It's not what we're told to believe and feel and do as a result of it. No, we have.
You could read another book I ran and give a lot different slant on it too. So
of course,
it's interesting.
Joe and I have actually been watching videos of Iran with, these families and how they cook and how they live. Mountain life and, what they do, their day-to-day chores, because you don't really hear about the people.
No.
You hear about the war.
Yeah.
And it's all these women. So I said to Joe, either their husband died in war or he's off at war, but it's like the grandmother, the mother, and then she has like 4 daughters. It's all women.
And honestly, what I think part of it too is trying to get the girls married off. I really do, because they need that. If they don't marry off and have children, that culture is going to basically die off. It's a very big reality.
So they're just people. They're people trying to make they're trying to live their life just like we are. And it really, gives you
humanizes.
Humanizes. And you feel compassion for them. Rather than
I'm so impressed with you guys. Like, this is happening with Iran or Iran. I'm probably not saying it right. And both of you, you're just looking into learning about them. That's so awesome.
Oh my goodness, tremendous. It's tremendous. One of the I had two sets of books when I was younger. We had the Encyclopedia Americana, which I always went through, and then another set of books was called Lands and Peoples. And
Oh,
I think it
yes,
was
I remember them.
okay. It was like I think
Yeah.
8, and it was amazing just learning about all the different cultures. It was just,
Yeah.
people like us.
Now we have the internet, we
Oh
can
my goodness, it's a
go
beautiful
and-
thing.
Yes.
We've got to
You
give
know,
you.
when I hear, sorry, it's so hard not to interrupt on this thing.
Go ahead. I know. Go ahead.
When I hear reports of what's going on, and whether it's Iran or Ukraine or whatever, with bombs being dropped and burning buildings and people being slaughtered, I picture myself in my own home and this happening around me. That I'm hearing the missiles coming at my neighborhood. I'm seeing them drop. I'm seeing the exploding houses and fire. What if that was me?
I know.
Right.
That's why I wanted to start learning about the other people who are experiencing those things, because it could be me one day. I don't know.
I know. Unfortunately, the rulers have no empathy for the people. They really don't. They have a feeling for their power and for the way they want to run and control the earth. That's it. That's it.
This really shows Annie's empathy.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We also can't be so complacent to think that things aren't going to affect us either, because they certainly are, especially in the trajectory that we're heading.
Yeah.
We're probably going to end up in a not so good spot here in a few months. And I think that's something that we need to be prepared for also here, as Americans and stuff, because this will affect us and it will be in a negative way.
This is true.
It's going to be a mixed story. It really is. It's going to be a mixed story. No one's looking for. We're not looking for Armageddon. Armageddon is just not.
No.
Nor the Great Tribulation. But just as there were changes in government periodically, there is now. There is. This new world order is real, and they're working at it. They're working hard at it.
The world is not really out of control. I think it's functioning. It's going along pretty much as they want it to.
Yeah, it's not out of control. It is being controlled.
Yeah.
And people.
The controlled demolition.
We don't matter. People don't matter. Arrangements matter. Well, we just wanted to let you know an arrangement for us. We won't be doing the Wednesdays after this like we have been, but we'll continue making
short videos.
shorts, where we continue to offer research that we find.
Can I ask why, or should I ask that privately?
No, that's fine.
No, it's good. Everything that we've ever been through has its cycle. It has its run. It has its point of departure, where you go up to a certain point and then you branch out and help enable everything else to move forward. Otherwise, things get stagnated. Because the growth, but the point was to initiate and then to enable. You've all enabled yourself to go the next step. And so now.
Our goal has always been to help open up, people's minds and thinkings to different things, and you don't have to accept it. But it was just kind of like thinking outside the box, because Watchtower didn't want us to do that. And we feel we have accomplished that mission. Our other mission was to connect people, and we're still doing that. Matter of fact, we talked to someone today for an hour in Washington, D.C. If there's anyone in the Washington, D.C. area, she's looking to meet up. And she was never a witness, but someone very close to her is a witness, basically.
And incidentally, any of the interaction, too, it can be continued on...
Yeah, so Discord is going to be basically taking the place of us.
Yeah.
So if you go on Discord, you're going to be able to talk to people. They're going to have meetups. Shauna has more input for that I don't know if Shauna's there. If she wants to come on, but it's we feel good about it. There's nothing negative, nothing at all. We've really enjoyed.
We've always been that way. This is how I grew up, and this is how everything else grows. It grows up by taking the next step.
Yeah.
And by
sounds like you all graduated.
Yeah.
Or graduating. Right?
I'm gonna miss this.
Me too.
We all graduate. Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
And Linda has her program on Saturday evenings at 9:00, but it's California time. Matthew Millay, he has a YouTube channel. There's so many. Ruby has hers on Tuesday night.
See, this allows new things to take place. It's like that with anything. You can maintain a status quo, and generally it goes in a lockstep, and you never see anything or develop anything new. So, you inject change and allows things to happen, because magic happens when people branch out and step outside of their
we're always
range.
We're always here for anybody to call or text.
And you guys are available.
We'll connect you. I know Linda wants to connect with Annie, so we'll give you each other's numbers.
And again, Discord too.
And Discord, we're really trying to promote Discord.
Yeah.
Shauna. Go ahead, Shauna.
Yeah, we will get Joe and Fran on for the occasional chats and stuff, and we have meetups, and Ruby hosts movies on Saturday nights, late night movies, scary stuff. So that's been growing. People are accessing help. We have people joining, looking for therapists, so the chain is still there. So, but I'd like to add one word, Joe, evolution, right? We're evolving. So I know for Vern and I personally, we start work next month. So our time is going to be, obviously diverted elsewhere because it's time now. He's doing well health-wise, and he still plans on checking in. Yep, he still plans on checking in, with the other, his.
And I'm going to throw in another word too, and it's ascending. Mm-hmm. If Watchtower and institutions kept people down, now the information coming out is helping people to ascend above it, above all of this. And it's very freeing and light, literally light. It makes you feel lighter when you can ascend out of all the grief and lives that put people through. So it's ascending. Even though things around may be degrading, we can ascend.
And we've seen people ascend many times in many ways throughout this journey. Like, how many years has it been now? We're going to reminisce a little bit here, everybody. How many years has it been now?
Seems like
3 years, right? This is going on 4.
Wow.
We started at 4 hours. 4 hours every week. Yes. And then we switched to 3, and then just recently it was down to 2, but it's just telling us it's time for change. We have the regulars, and we love how everybody checks in weekly. It is like a check-in, right? But then there are those that have left and come back very fleetly because they've on. And you guys hit on it tonight, ironically, with the term graduation. So that's what we should have done, a graduation theme. But seriously, I'm proud of how this whole thing has evolved, and to just be a little part of it. So I'm very proud of that. So
Shauna, you've got Eden again. I mean, the fact that you guys are involved in the parks, I look at it as you made a moral stand, you made an ethical stand, and you've got Eden.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where we were going there for a moment, but yes, literally, we will be in a provincial park this summer, working in the sunshine and the rain, and it doesn't matter if you don't like somebody, because guess what? They have to go home. It's 3 days or a week. So we're really looking forward to it. And Vern, just like I said, he's healed. It's so nice for me to step back and let him do the blue jobs again, as we like to joke about it. So, but yeah, this has just been just wonderful and a blessing. And before I shut up here, I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks again for all the community support. And Joe and Fran, you guys have just been monumental, especially in the last part. Like, nobody will ever truly know how much you've done for us in enabling us to get to where we are now. Like, they were even references for us guys for this job. Like, these relationships have impacted me in so many ways. So I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. And I do hope to see any of you guys that want to join us on Discord. Please do. You're more than welcome there, okay?
We're interested. We are interested.
And Shauna, we appreciate everything that you
We've
and
enabled
Vern.
it all.
We started out with, Vern invited us on fixing my faith, and then, then we branched out and we did our own, and it was scary because we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And Shauna held our hand and walked us through it, and then basically she makes us look good because we just sit here and talk, and she's doing everything in the background that most people don't know what's going on. And so we really appreciate, both Shauna and Vern.
I just wanted to say I appreciate being able to be a part of the community through you guys. So it's been my pleasure and my honor. Yeah. And of course,
I appreciate the fact that there are people that are light bearers. You're light bearer. You shine your light. You wouldn't be here. You would not be here if you didn't feel strongly about shining light, like Jesus said. Don't hide your light under the bushel.
Right.
Because I need that light. You need it. Your fellow needs that, and you're giving it. You're not through. We're not through. And it's magical. I like it. I think it's magical.
I just want to tell Joe and Fran, this is JP Jerry, that thanks for the show and holding up for all the years, because when I first woke up, I first found you guys on Rick's show. That was when you guys first started off on his show, and that's how I got the number. And you guys have connected hundreds, if not thousands, of people together, and that was not around before. And that has forever changed the XJW community for the better. And God knows how many people's lives you've saved or forever changed the trajectory of their life for the better. So thanks for that. And I'm going to miss you guys because I have graduated a lot. I only watch your shows on Wednesday and Rick's on Saturday. I used to binge watch every XJW channel and all that. And I will check into, some shows, especially when big things change, like the blood thing. Yeah, I'll go to everybody's channel, but I don't always visit them as much. But one thing I always have looked forward to the last couple of years is my Wednesday evenings when I get out of work. I know you and Joe are going to be there, and my family, our XJW family and Rick Farron's show. But it's okay, things will go on. So many people have connected, and I'm going to have to find something to do on Wednesdays, which is okay.
I'm confident that something else is going to develop. I am confident. Yeah. It always has. It always has, and we always do that.
Yeah.
So,
but thank you so much. I love you guys, and I can never put into words how much you've helped me or other people. And I don't think there'll ever be words, but I think I know you guys know in your heart and spirit what you've done, and that's what counts.
Like we told you from the beginning, Jerry, you're like a son to us because we don't have our sons. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I make a suggestion, if I may?
Love you too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Please do, Gail.
I want to make a suggestion, and I'll explain to you why. I want to know if next week you could do a goodbye show, because there's probably some that haven't been able to come on tonight, and this is going to be a shock and a surprise to some of them. And I was wondering if next week you could dedicate a whole show for all of us to say our goodbyes. I'm a firm believer in having closure and goodbyes. I knew eventually this would come to this, but I don't know how you feel about that, but it's just a suggestion on my end, because there's some that haven't tuned in tonight, but it's going to come as a surprise to them.
Do you think they will? So do you think they will?
Absolutely.
If you post it, it's a goodbye show. I think everybody will come on to say how what you've done for us.
Goodbye.
It's just a suggestion.
I don't like that.
Okay.
We don't
He doesn't like that.
I
Yeah.
don't like that.
How about a graduation show?
So if I could just interject in here,
Yeah, go ahead.
Joe and Fran have always been very adamant with me. No production, no nothing, no caricatures. Like they've taken this very seriously. So to set them up for a night of accolades and thank yous, but what about a graduation idea? If people showed up with their graduation stories or impact stories, would you be willing to partake? Would you be willing to participate in something like that?
Yeah, because people need closure.
Okay,
Whether it's graduation or goodbye. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, Gail, 1 sec.
Yeah,
Joe.
but in all fairness, this is what you're going to do.
It's gonna be
Yes.
yours.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So everybody next week on our channel, we are going to run a graduation show to thank Joe and Fran for everything they've done and how we're going to thank them instead of thank yous. Let's give them your stories of success, please.
Yeah.
How have they helped you? How have they helped you to look forward, grow, even access help or find companionship? Just
here's the point. Here's the point. The Watchtower poisoned people with their policies and their practices. You rejoining together is the antidote for that. So you're going to basically show how that antidote works. That it works. You're the antidote. You are caring for each other the way you do in relationships, new relationships. That's the antidote. That's what I want to see, and we do see that.
So you're up for it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A graduation.
Okay.
all right.
We'll give a tribute to the show. Everybody, 5-10 minute tribute.
Yeah.
Yes. Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I will write something nice for next week. Definitely.
Perfect.
Gail is,
Okay.
Gail is full of great ideas these days.
This is for Annie too, because Annie didn't graduate. She didn't go to her graduation. So
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah.
So be it.
yes.
Good.
So just
All right.
if you
Because
guys
coming from a mental health perspective, I firmly believe in goodbyes and closure. I really do, especially for the ones that listen in. That you are very important to them, and you know who I'm talking about. And that's why I brought it up, because it would be nice. I like the idea of graduation rather than saying goodbye. It's tough to say goodbye, but at least we'll give people.
No, we don't say goodbye. No.
At least we'll give people a time to thank, not thank, but to share their feelings and how far we've come, because it's been 3 years.
And where we're going, and where you're going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I just would like to put that out there. We have a week. If you guys do want to work on anything, Joe and Fran, you have my email. If you could just forward the stuff to me, because I'm going to build a graduation show. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Honestly,
All right, cool.
I don't want to work on a thing.
Well, then there you go. Okay, so you guys can get a hold of us at fmf@xjwfriends.com. Pretty simple.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat. So if you guys have any ideas or you want to present anything, just please get a hold of me sometime in the next 5 days or
Your
whatever.
show.
That's right.
This is
Yep,
your show.
exactly. So
Your
there you go. It has been delegated. It is done. Yep.
Yay.
Yay.
You're great.
I like
You're
what Wild Wall said. It's going to be a send off.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That does make sense. Yeah. That's excellent.
That
Yeah,
is what
where's Dallas?
graduations are. Yeah. So
boom.
Yeah, Dallas isn't here tonight.
No, he
Dallas?
was.
He's on
Yeah,
the
He's
phone.
in the chat. He's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
probably
Fran?
eating something.
Fran, what did you want to do? You want to keep going tonight, or do you
Oh,
want to
no,
wrap?
no, this is
Oh,
good,
no, we're
right?
doing good.
No, this
Doing
is good. I think people have things to do
Yeah.
and other,
Yeah.
so we
Okay.
want to, yes.
Love you all.
Awesome. Good night.
You too. Thank you. Good night.
And it's obvious
See
that
you
you're
next week.
continuing.
Whoops, wait a minute. Ricky Bobby wants to say something. Hold on. Head to stage. You there, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah, there he
There
is.
you are. Yeah.
Hi.
Last word,
Hey,
Bobby.
Bobby.
Just wanted to say thank you guys for all that you do for all of us. It's a lot of work having a show, and it can be exhausting emotionally too, even though it is rewarding. I love you guys, and thank you for all the hard work and all the love that you showed to all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
join us next week
Next
for the
week. See us next
graduation,
week.
Ricky
Yeah,
Bobby.
All right, sounds good.
Love you all.
In the
Good night,
meantime, you
everyone.
got
Thank
to
you.
keep living your life with love.
That's right.
All right.
As
Thanks,
Vern would
guys.
say.
I would say.
All right, we love you all.
Love
Good
you.
night.
See you next week.
Good night.
Yeah.